Welcome to r/relationship advice. Today's story. 20-year-old female says, my boyfriend, 22-year-old male, of 3 years got a FaceTime last night from a group of his drunken girlfriends, asking him to show them his fat man organ. So, my boyfriend Nick and I have been together for 3 years. He's a super nice, caring guy, and I've never had any serious doubts about things until last night. As the title says, last night, while he was with me at my place, he got a FaceTime call from his friend M. M has known him a lot longer than I have, they grew up together, so I have always respected their friendship. I've also met M many times, and she was always super nice to me, and super fun, and we follow each other on social media. I've never had any reason to dislike her, or disapprove of their friendship, so in all honesty, her FaceTiming my boyfriend somewhat late at night didn't raise any immediate alarm bells. However, before he answered he warned me that M was on a beach trip with a few other girlfriends. There were 3 other girls, 4 total including M. Without trying to get too carried away, I'd like to add some context. Obviously my boyfriend, Nick, is 2 years older than me. M, and her 3 other friends, are all closer to Nick's age, 22 to 23, where I'm yet to be 21. Including that info, I'd like to also express the fact that M, and these 3 other girls, and my boyfriend all went to school together, all in the same grade through high school, and maybe middle school as well. Point being, they've known my boyfriend for quite some time. They've also known he has been dating me for 3 years, as these 3 other girls also follow me on social media like M. I've met these other girls a handful of times, but he's not as close to them as he is with M. I guess the best way to summarize is they are M's friends, but because they all went to school together and are the same age, they're all fairly good friends. Anyways, he tells me M is FaceTiming him. He tells me she's with these 3 other friends, and they're at the beach. I told him he should answer then. They're probably having a good time, and just want to tell him about it. He answers. M and her 3 friends all immediately start screaming my boyfriend's name. They then begin to scream his name, followed by show us your fat man organ. They were clearly hammered, but I was mortified. What the frick? My boyfriend seemed pretty shocked too, told them he was with me, and asked what the frick that was about. The girls all had a mix of explanations. They're drunk, they meant to call someone else, it was an accident. I think I'm really struggling with this, because I'm just so shocked and confused. I feel as though I can't blame my boyfriend, because clearly this was not his fault, but at the same time I do not understand why these girls, these women actually, we are all freaking adults, would think that was an appropriate thing to say to someone who has been in a committed relationship for years. It just doesn't make sense. I feel like I'm also struggling with this, because it makes me wonder if my boyfriend has created an atmosphere where these women think acting this way towards him is okay. I feel like he would never do something like that, but I'm just at such a loss. Why would these women think that was okay, and why did they only stop when Nick told them he was with me? Also, for what it's worth, I'm obviously upset with these women too. We didn't hang out often, but I'm upset that the few times we did, they were always nice to me, and then they did something so vulgar and inappropriate. I just don't understand. I'm also upset at the fact that they did not produce a single valid explanation. Clearly, they did not mean to call someone else. They gleefully screamed my boyfriend's name half a dozen times as soon as he answered. And how was that an accident? This whole incident happened around 11 last night, and I fell asleep fairly shortly after. When me and Nick woke up this morning, we talked about it briefly, and then he left for work. M texted him and said something along the lines of, Nick, you're being weird, we were just really drunk. Tell OP we're sorry. They were hammered. That was obvious. I still just don't understand why they did it. I've been inebriated, and never have I FaceTimed someone's boyfriend of several years and asked them to show me their penis. It just doesn't add up. Nor does it really add up that M said Nick was being weird. How was he acting odd? I think WTF was a pretty standard response to that sort of thing, unless they are used to him acting a different way. I just do not understand. The only person I've talked to about this was my best friend. She knows Nick well, only through me though, so maybe there is some bias, and thinks that these women were probably just wasted. She said she agrees that while she and I would never do something like that under the influence, some women will. I suppose she could be right, but again I have a hard time making peace with that simply because I would never do that, and these women are all 2 to 3 years older than me. I suppose I just can't understand why older women would have such a lower level of maturity. I'm sorry for the long post/rant, but I'm pretty upset and confused. I would love to just be able to shake this off, but it really shocked me to my core. I just keep hearing all 4 of their voices, and the choirs of "show us your fat man" organ, and I can't get over it. What the frick was that? So yeah, any advice or other perspective is appreciated. I'm just at a total loss of explanation right now. Update. Before I get too carried away, I would like to thank everyone who weighed in on this. I didn't expect it to get much traction, and I really appreciate the amount of you who commented offering your own insight. A lot of the comments made me laugh too, so thank you for that. I honestly don't have a crazy update that a lot of you seem to be expecting. I talked to Nick. I explained to him exactly why this whole situation made me so uncomfortable. Thank you for all the kind redditors who simply suggested doing that. I also expressed to him that their lack of an explanation made me all the more uncomfortable. He said he understood exactly where I was coming from, and we seemed to get a better understanding of each other after the talk. He told me that Em had apologized more throughout the next day. She had said that her and her friends were beyond smashed, and they thought it would be a funny thing to do, to FaceTime all their guy friends and ask to see, well, you know. So, to those of you in the comments who suggested Nick was not the only one who got this call, you are correct. She also went on to explain that, because they were so wasted, they didn't realize how awkward it was until Nick said OP is right here. Additionally, their mix of it was an accident, and we meant to call someone else. Explanation sort of makes sense now, when you consider just how drunk they were, and the fact that they were in fact calling several other dudes that night. Em also offered to call me directly and further apologize. All the contact her and my boyfriend had throughout this conversation was him texting her, and he showed me afterwards. I didn't really think that was necessary. I did not want to draw this situation out more than it already had gone on. I feel as though she's sorry enough, and she does not have my number anyways. For those who are probably going to say she should have called anyways, at this point I kind of just wanted to be over the whole mess. I did however ask my boyfriend if he and Em, or any of her friends, had any sort of relations prior to meeting me. He said no, and I believe him. Full disclaimer, I never thought I would be posting this on Reddit, but I met my boyfriend when he was 19, and he was not very experienced with women, not even in the kissing department. So yeah, I fully believe him. He was even a bit insecure about his inexperience when we met. The rest of the girls, Em's friends, never apologized other than Em texting saying something to the effect of "we're sorry," because I don't know them that well, and because they probably just feel super uncomfortable about all of this. I'm not going to ask for an apology. I will however think of them slightly differently, and probably prefer my boyfriend not go to any parties/social functions they might be at. No hard feelings. It's just the whole incident paired with them not really holding themselves accountable, unlike Em, kind of rubs me the wrong way. I will say that, because they did not make the call, they probably hold themselves to be less guilty than Em, which is fair, but I can't help but feel like, if I were in the situation I would still reach out to apologize for the boundaries crossed. Oh well. For those of you who kindly suggested Nick may be cheating with Em, I highly doubt it. I have been cheated on once before. Perhaps I should have included that in the original post, as it might have added more context to why this made me so upset. Anyways, I've been cheated on before, and I do not see any of the signs in Nick. I also think he would have to be pretty skilled if he were doing this, as Em has been living in college for the past few years, hours away from us, and Nick and I have been together almost 24/7 the past few months, because COVID is still so bad in our country. And above all else, I trust Nick. I do not think he would do this. And finally, to answer the question everyone has been dying to know, yes, my boyfriend is particularly well endowed. I don't know that I'd call it a soup can as someone kindly suggested in the comments on my other post, but yeah, it's fat. So, their request to see his fat man organ made me all the more uncomfortable. When I finally worked up the nerve to explain this to my boyfriend, he laughed and then immediately started blushing. Got to love that guy. Here's the first comment. I thought this one was weird. Different people have different boundaries, but I can't imagine getting this upset over a bunch of women calling up my boyfriend and saying that. I just think I'd assume it was a joke. Here's the next comment. Does nobody else think a bunch of people getting smashed and then calling all their friends and asking to see their genitals is extremely awful behavior? I mean, classic gender swap. Bunch of dudes get drunk and call all their female friends asking to see their female genitalia. Not okay. A bunch of women asking all their guy friends to show them their man organs is not okay. It's super invasive and creepy and ugh. Here's the next comment. I find it a little troubling that despite all of OP's acknowledgement of the situation and how silly it is that she is asking her boyfriend to not attend parties where these girls are present. It sounds like she still has some insecurity issues to deal with that may be caused by the last relationship. Here's the next comment. The burdens of a fat man organ. Lol. Here's the next comment. Oh dear. Not letting him go to the same parties as them? Not a good plan. Either it's saying I don't trust you to him, or it's saying I think you are rapists to them. Well, they're all young. They're unlikely to spend their lives together. This will be a learning experience for her. Here's the next comment. How can we know that it's fat if OP doesn't show us his fat man organ? Lol. Thanks for watching.